so many of us come into this idea of like 100%. I'm going to go on this diet 100%. I'm going to do this one thing 100%. And what
or
happens?
110% is usually what I say.
That's the type of personality, whoever's watching this, right? It's that type A, like I'm going to get after it beyond like A++. Right. And then what happens is then that we hit like failure, you know, it's right. One way or the other.
And then I'm beating myself up for that, as opposed to like, cause like, you know, to your point, I imagine that probably people who are watching this are people who are similar, where like I own a business, and I know that people who like, whether you work for somebody else's business or whatever it is, if you're driven, you are probably similar to me, where I'm thinking like, if I don't deliver at 110% in every area of my life, I'm a failure. So like practicing this idea of 80%, not only being okay, but being better than 110, and like learning how it's actually like giving better results to everyone in my life and myself that needs me and my energy to show up its best.
Yeah.
It's like still something I'm learning, but it was really so critical, not only because of the actual like differences in like the way that I manage my time or the amount of things that I take on in a day, but it's also just like freed up a lot in terms of like kind of, I think you were kind of alluding to this, but it's like, if according to me, I wasn't delivering or being on at 110%, then that I'm a failure thing becomes I'm beating myself up, which means that I actually produce or accomplish or feel good way less than 110 or 80%. And it's like, I kind of knew that, but it was a lot easier to get it and learn it and then relearn better ways of being about managing my time and energy, which I think I had said, like, that was something I initially was facing when we started. And I didn't realize that going for 110 was actually like going against what I wanted. And so the process of like really integrating that, and I think I said also learning the importance of routines as a way of doing that it seems simple, but it's been really huge. Even as like now I have lunch breaks in my schedule. And like in the past, when I would do that, I would always feel lazy and like take them out and be like, you can't schedule a lunch break. Like you have to be doing something while you're eating. And it's like, no, when we would be on our calls and I was literally like scarfing food down while trying to do work with you to take care of myself, to be better in all these areas. And you were like, how does your stomach feel right now? Like, I was like, oh, in that moment, I learned multitasking while you're eating is not like something to be giving yourself a gold star for. Like, it's actually causing you a lot of the problems that you're saying you're here to get help with, like digestion and being like swirling around and like, you know, Vata excess and all this stuff that I also learned about. Like, so back to your question, I also learned that I have a Vata imbalance. And in the past, I couldn't really figure out, like I had kind of heard some of these Ayurvedic principles, but thought, oh, well, I'm Pitta Kapha, so Vata doesn't apply to me. And then when you were like, well, actually you have a Vata imbalance, it all made sense. And I was like, oh, of course I do. And so like learning about what that means and how it shows up in all these physical, emotional, and energetic ways was also so helpful, because now I really like, it's like I got that practice of grounding, but I learned how to like really do that, because I think like having that like trying and failing. Okay, now I'm starting to get it. And like being able to talk through it with you helped to really like I keep saying, get it, and not just as an intellectual concept. I hope that
I love that. I mean, it's like, there's so many things that you shared, like all these little side nuggets. And so anyone listening to this is like, wait, what is this 80% principle? And how do I accomplish that? But like, really, it sounds like it's coming to the essence of boundaries, time management, and learning skills, like tools and techniques that really hone it in for your specific mind body type. So when she says Vata, that's her imbalance of body type. And then it's using those tools and then bringing them into your life that you can find balance. So I love that you're sharing of like the weeds of how those things are affecting you, because a lot of us are coming in as people pleasers, overachievers, highly driven, maybe entrepreneurs. And then we're like, I can't do 110 forever, So I think it's really great. You're sharing exactly, what a lot of us are experiencing. So maybe if you're listening to this and you're like, I want to know the 80% principle, you reach out and we could talk about it. But I think what's really important is like understanding, how do I achieve balance in a high stress environment? And it sounds like you were able to achieve and at least learn a lot of the lessons to help you achieve that.